And why don't we go ahead and start the stream? Let's see. This. One, two, 1, 2. Hello, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. One, two, check, 1, 2. Can you hear me in there, Robert? Over the PA? Yes? Namanda, 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 namanda. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dharma Family Service, our first Dharma Family Service of 2024, which reminds me, Happy New Year! Yeah, we can still say that, right? We're actually still set up with our New Year's adornments and everything, and I'll talk about that a little bit during my Dharma message. But for now, let's begin our service with Sutra chanting, and we'll be chanting Juseige, which is on page 23 in the small purple book, and page 93 in the large purple book. Namanda, 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 namanda. Kansho segan hishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gao munyoko Fui dai se shu, fu sai sho bingu, sei fu jo shogak, ga shi jo butsudo, myo sho cho jippo, Gyokyo mi shomon seifu jo shogak ryokujin shonen joe shubongyo shigumu jodo Isho tenin shi Jinniki and Aiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shunyakunan Kai Hichi Egen Meshi Konmoan Hei Soku Sho Akudo Tsudatsu Zen Shumon Koso Jo Manzok Iyoro jippo Nichigatsu shujuki Tenko onpugen Ishukai hozo Koseku dokuho Jo dai shichi seppo shishiku kuyo isai butsu gusoku shutoku hon ganne shitsujo man Tokui sangayo Nyobutsu mugechi Tsudatsu mi fusho Gangaku erik Toshi saisho son Shiganya koka Daisen o kando Kokusho tennin Touchin myoke Sai Dohoten Bodai Shin Ojo An Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Okay, next, let's recite the three treasures, which is on page 3 in the small purple book. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay. Thank you very much once again for joining us. It's cold this morning, huh? Finally, I woke up and my house was 44 degrees, which is fine because we got some new flannel sheets, so it didn't matter. If I leave my heater on, the lowest setting is 50. So if it gets lower than that, the heater is turning on all night. We don't need it. We got my flannel sheets. I got my wool knit hat from Momiji-kai, so I'm fine. But it's kind of nice. I mean, we could, for some people, it might be difficult when it's cold, right? If you don't have heat, if you don't have a home to live in, right? Cold can be a very difficult circumstances, but for others, it's wonderful. It's winter. It's supposed to be cold, right? It's not going to get as cold as Wyoming or Massachusetts or, East Coast or something, right? So all of that is relative, but one thing that we do have is the weather report, right? We can watch the weather. How many people watch the weather on TV still? Few people, right? A lot of people don't watch TV anymore, right? How many of you check on your phone? Right? That's another option. So there's a couple different ways, but I often hear people complain, right? Come on, they said it was going to rain, and it didn't rain. What's wrong with them? Why can't they get it right? That's reality, people. It's not predicting the future. It's kind of guessing at what it's going to be with probability, right? With scientific models. When I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, I remember the weather was interesting to me. I remember seeing the clouds. There's different kinds of clouds, cumulus, cirrus clouds, right? There's all these different kinds of clouds. And I thought that was kind of cool. Unfortunately, I was also a very bad student, so I never dove in and really studied it. But maybe in an alternate reality, I did. And I became a weatherman instead of a minister, weather person. So anyway, I have this kind of interest in the weather, and you can't predict it. It's impossible. That's not how the world works, right? You can predict, but by probability, right? Maybe this will happen. Probably this will happen. But there's always this potential for change. Right? That there's this kind of quantum principle that sometimes something else happens and just sets things on a different path, right? And so they actually don't just use one model. So I watched Steve Paulson on KTVU Channel 2, right, Bay Area, and he talks about, the Canadian model sells this, but the whatever model, right? So there's these different groups making these different models, and then the weather people look at it and say, yeah, I think it's going to be this one. So that's why different stations can give you a different report, too. That's why you look at the app on your phone, and you look at it half an hour later, and it's different sometimes, right? And it's because it's always changing. So we can't predict the future, right? There's no way we can absolutely say with absolute certainty, this will happen. So thinking about that, the reason I'm talking about this is because it is still New Year's time, right? We're on the first Sunday of 2024, so we're still kind of early. And so if you look at the altar, look at the Naijin, right? And it's a little different than usual. We do have the beautiful brocade cloth, the uchishiki, hanging in front, that kind of triangle kind of cloth. So we put that up for special services. But we also have the kagami mochi, right, on the stand. So there's two in front of Amida, and both Shinran and Renyo have one. That's the big mochi kind of, what do you call that? I don't know. It's like a pancake almost, but like a really thick mochi pancake, and a kind of smaller one stacked on top of that, and then mikan. Okay? And so this is this Japanese symbol for New Year's. Right? And so we have that up. So we're still in this kind of New Year's time. So I'm still kind of thinking about New Year's resolutions, right? And thinking about, I don't know if any of you have made any New Year's resolutions. I haven't resolved anything, but I am thinking about it, right? Thinking about, is there anything that I would like to resolve to maybe do differently? Isn't that kind of what New Year's resolutions are about? Very often it's about self-improvement, right? Trying to improve something maybe that you feel you could be doing better. So one of the things that I've been thinking about is to work on my handwriting. My handwriting is very, very bad. I have horrible handwriting. My father's handwriting is beautiful. His handwriting was so nice. And I'm sure he wanted my handwriting to be nice, right? But it didn't happen. I think he tried to get me going on it, but I didn't listen. I didn't practice, right? I didn't try and do that, right? And so now I generally have defaulted for the past 20 years to block capitals, right? So I write stuff and I'm like, block capitals really fast, right? Because it's more legible. You know what block capitals are? It's like everything is a capital letter, but the capital letters are still big, and then you write this, what normally is lowercase, but I write it in capitals, right? So that's kind of how I write. And I've been doing that for seriously 20, 30 years. And for some reason, the past week or two, Actually, it's been kind of the past year. I realized, you know what? Maybe I should work on my cursive handwriting. Right? I'm not sure how to do it yet. I did write a card this morning, and I did that. I said, I'm just going to go for it. One of my problems is I tend to get in these extra strokes, right? So I'm like Harry, H-A-R-R-R-R-Y. It's like I can't stop my hand, right? And I get too many R's, because why? And so I think what usually happens is I do that, and I make the mistake, and I give up. I can't write well. My handwriting's terrible. Forget it. Block capitals. H-A-R-R-Y, right? With the block capitals. You know what I think the answer is? Anybody have thoughts? How can I improve my handwriting? Patience. And another one begins with P. Practice, right? To go beyond that step, but you go beyond that mistake, right? To try, first of all, I got to try, H-A-R-R-Y, And then if I go H-A-R-R-R-Y, oops, or H-A-R-R-Y-R, how did that happen? Trust me, it happens. When I make that mistake, don't give up. Did it again. Okay, maybe I should sit down and write a little bit, right? Try and do that. So that, it might sound obvious to you, it's not obvious to me, right? To realize, I made a mistake, dang it, I can't do this, I think is part of who I am now, and part of who I've been for 20, 30, 40, 45 years, right? I don't know when it started, but I think it started early, right? And so realize, whoa, when I catch that mistake, right, that's part of awareness, mindfulness, right? Realize, first of all, I made a mistake. Then the next thing is realize, I was ready to give up, right? And then this kind of part of patience and practice and endeavor, right? What is it? Grandpa delivers pizza every Monday and Wednesday. The E, effort, right? To try again, right? With the patience and the effort to try and improve my handwriting. Right? And that's going to take practice. It's going to mean more than just writing when I have to, but writing when I don't have to get ready for when it's important. So, I think about it sometimes and think, have I kind of given up? I'm 53. Moi. Can I really change myself? Can I really improve? Right? I think is one kind of attitude I feel within myself. But then I look at this past year and find, no, there's been times when I've tried to change. Even this trying to write a letter again, right, I think is another time when I can look and see, I have been trying. I'm not a lost cause, right? Maybe this is a good time to make a New Year's resolution. So another aspect of New Year's and this idea of resolutions that I wanted to just point to a little bit is this idea that you'll hear sometimes, don't worry about the past, it's gone and done. Don't worry about the future, it never comes. Just now, right? Now, this moment, this present moment. And that is, I think, one kind of Buddhist idea we can look to. I think very often we do get stuck in the past, caught up in the past, right? Worrying about something that happened, worrying about something I said, stuck there. Right? And getting stuck, I think Buddhism would say, try not to get stuck. Same with the future, worrying too much about the future, right? The future hasn't happened yet. I do that in the shower sometimes. I run through a conversation that maybe I might have later that day or later that week and get all upset and then realize, wait, I'm taking a shower, I'm not having a conversation. Let it go, right? Don't get stuck in the future. Don't get stuck there, right? That do what I need to do now and live in the now. But I also think that the past is important, the future is important. Right? We should know our past. We should know our history, whether it's my personal history or the history of the church or the history of America or the history of different groups within America. Right? There's all these different things that I think is really, really important to know our history. Not to get stuck in it, but to be aware of it. right? To try and understand more deeply what's going on and why. Because where I am now is partly due to the past, right? So if I think about my handwriting, that, it's how I was brought up. And it's choices that I made. It's choices that my parents made. It's the school I went to, right? All these different things are part of it. And so if I can if I feel guilt, maybe I don't have to feel so guilty. I can kind of think about it and see, oh, it's more than just me. It's more than just a bad decision I made. It's all these different causes and conditions. And then the future, I think it's important to have aspirations for the future. Whether it's goals, and that's one thing that New Year's resolutions are, huh? They're kind of these goals for the future. Maybe in this year, I can have this goal to try and change something in my life. And so for each one of you, if you want to do it, it's up to you, right? It's your goal, because you're who you are, right? We each have our own issues. We each have our own experiences. So we can think about that, set these goals, think about the future, have these aspirations, right? And then working with those, right, that we can maybe aspire for that. What I do now is still important too, because then the now, right, when I realize, oh, I'm giving up on my handwriting again, nope, got to practice a little more, practice a little more, that's now. But it's with an aspiration for the future. So I'll suggest middle way. The middle way as this very basic but so important Buddhist concept. The middle way or the middle path. It goes back, Shakyamuni, one of the explanations of Shakyamuni is he starts out as a prince, pure pleasure, no pain, no suffering at all. And then he rejects that and he goes on a path of very difficult, austere ascetic practices, kind of denying his body and starving himself. And then when he sits under the Bodhi tree, we just did Bodhi Day last month, right? When he sits under the Bodhi tree, it's because he realizes, my life in the palace, pure pleasure, that's an extreme. This life I've been living for years of asceticism, starving myself, that's an extreme too. There's a middle way between these two extremes. And so he's been starving himself, and finally Sujata brings him some yogurt or milk, and normally he wouldn't be allowed to drink that based on the difficult practices he's doing, but he drinks it, and he's nourished. And so embarking on this middle way, he attains awakening. Later on, Nagarjuna, one of the later teachers in Buddhism, there's this idea of emptiness. Do things exist? Does the pen really exist? Or is there just nothing? There's actually nothing at all. This is all illusion and there's absolutely nothing. Those are two ideas, U and Mu, existence and non-existence, being and non-being. And Nagarjuna says both of those are extremes. Nothing exists in and of itself, right? So the pen doesn't have this absolute existence. It's gonna dissolve eventually. The chemicals will fall apart, or it'll break. The ink will go dry. Or I can also get into it and be like, oh, pen, but wait, pen and cap. Oh wait, pen, cap, ink. Oh wait, there's a head here. Oh wait, there's molecules. Oh wait, atoms, and keep going and find no essence in and of itself. And yet, I got paper. Oh, I'm going to write something. You can't see it. I'm going to write my name. Okay, it's a pen now. Not existing in itself, but it's a pen because I wrote with it, right? I used it to write, and so this middle way between existence of an absolutely existing pen and non-existence. No, nothing exists. It's all illusion, right? We can live here in this middle way, right, of not clinging to things, but also realizing that we have a life to live, right? And so this middle way we can apply to almost anything in our life. So to go back to this idea of the past is gone, don't get stuck in it. The future never comes. Don't worry so much about it that you can't live your life, right? Is one. And then another is be aware of your past. Be aware of why you're here, well, so many, and we're going to do Shotsuki later. That's part of it, right? I'm here because of my parents, because of my grandparents, because of my extended family, because of my friends, because of my teachers, right? I'm here because of the past. And more aware of that, now I can aspire for the future in a way beyond just my own self-centeredness or just for me and mine, right? And aspire to something bigger. So walking this middle way isn't easy necessarily. It's not the same. If I could just tell you, walk the middle way, here it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just do that. Wouldn't that be great? I tell you what to do and you do it. I don't think you would. And even if you wanted to, it would be really hard because it doesn't work that way. We each have our own middle way to walk, right? So you have to live your life with awareness, right? With this kind of awareness of why I'm here, and maybe even awareness of how I would like things to be. Walking this middle way that's my middle way, at the same time that I'm walking it with other people. So walking this middle way, and I'll close with this, with the Buddha Dharma as my guide. That's what I'd like to finally suggest, is the Buddha Dharma as a kind of compass. Wandering around, getting stuck in my head, getting stuck in what's out there, right? Just kind of wandering with no aim. But Buddhism brings us back, right? That instead of just walking this endlessly, aimlessly, we can walk a path. We can walk the middle way. We can walk the Buddha way, right? Which is a way of awareness and kindness. So I want to thank you very much for joining us for our first Dharma Family Service of 2024. And why don't we conclude the Dharma message with Kansho. Walking a middle way between the past, the future, and walking in the present with the Buddha Dharma as my guide. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, Steve's here. What do we want to sing? Okay, we're going to sing Amida's Gift. It looks like it's in the big blue binder under A, alphabetical. This is one of those classic kathas, or is it a new one? Yes. It's a classic with new lyrics. Middle way. Little of both. We live most days routinely without much thought that we will never live this day again in all eternity. Each wondrous day is special in sunshine or in rain. In living we'll know pleasure, fulfillment, loss, and pain. This is the truth of constant change. We'll live throughout our lives. With Dharma eyes we'll see each day is Amida's gift to us. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, next, I believe we're going to have announcements from Robert Noguchi. There.
Is it working?
No, you had it, and then it went off. It should be green. It should be green. No, I don't think it's working. I'll put you through the PA. Just talk to your computer.
Okay, sorry about that. Hello? Hello?
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Buddhist Church of Oakland. We have a couple of announcements that if you're watching the YouTube presentation, you'll be able to see on the screen. First, I want to thank Reverend Harry Gyokyo Bridge, our resident minister, for his Dharma Talk and officiating this morning's service. Reverend Michael Endo for assisting with the service, Steve Tedesaki for playing the organ, and our host 10 group, chaired by Tricia Tamura Lee, providing hospitality for those of us here at the temple, and the Zoom crew for their presentation and YouTube broadcast support. A few announcements. Our Dharma School for children through high school will resume next Sunday, January 14th at 10 a.m. So if you have children or grandchildren or know people that have children or grandchildren that would like to bring their students here to the Buddhist Church of Oakland, please bring them next Sunday, the 14th at 10 a.m. We'll have a short service with Reverend Bridge and then dismissed into classes. Also next Sunday is our Honko service, our annual service of the memorial of our founder, Shinran Shonin. And it is one of the most important observances here in our Jodo Shinshu tradition. So we will have service at 10 a.m. and Dharma School will be here as well. And then we'll have lunch. We'll be serving lunch at 11:30. And so we hope that you'll all stay and join us for lunch. And that's next Sunday, the 14th. This year, we're resuming our study class and Dharma chat sessions with the Buddhist Education Committee. We'll have our first study class of the year on Saturday, January 27th from 1 to 3 p.m. And on the 28th, we'll have a Dharma chat, which is more informal Q&A discussion after service on Sunday, January 28th at 10:45. So everyone is welcome to attend and bring their questions about Buddhism. Reverend Bridge will be moderating. We'd love to have you as part of our BCO family. If you'd like to become a member, please see the brochure that's in the lobby saying welcome to our Sangha community, or inquire at the BCO office or any of our BCO members. We'd be happy to speak with you about membership. We thank you very much for supporting the Buddhist Church of Oakland. You can go to our website or use this QR code to get there and make a donation of any kind. We gladly accept and appreciate all donations that we receive. So we thank you very much for joining us this morning. And with that, I'll send it back to Sensei.
Thank you, Robert. One thing is that there's a chance we might not have Dharma School next week. So if you're signed up for Dharma School, there will be an email going out on that. But this will conclude our Dharma Family Service. We can come up and Oshoko, if you have not done so already, offer incense. And then at 11 o'clock, we will be having our January Shotsuki monthly memorial and adult Dharma service, and you're welcome to attend that as well. So why don't we conclude with Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, take it away, Steve. Come up in Oshoko.